A man shakes a hand, a smile, a brief touch, a name spoken clearly, cleanly, almost solemnly, as if it already carried an entire story to come. 2 seconds later, it's already gone. The face stays. Every detail, every expression, etched with almost photographic precision. The voice still echoes, the tone, the accent, in the way certain words were pronounced, but the name has vanished as if it had never existed. A meeting later that day. Same scenario. A hand extended, a name murmured amid the noise, then the void. An evening the next day, under dim light, the same quiet erasure, almost embarrassing this time, because it's already the 3rd time this week. A colleague's name, gone right when it needs to be said out loud, in front of everyone. That small jolt of panic, the forced smile, the sentence rebuilt on the fly just to avoid saying a name that no longer exists. Same problem, every time, same black hole, exactly where a simple word should be, tiny, harmless, and yet impossible to hold on to. And yet, that same brain remembers a face glimpsed only once, a sentence heard years ago, a detail from a forgotten conversation, a stranger's shoes on a train platform. So why this one gap, always in the same place? Why does the brain hoard almost everything, except names? Not attention, not intelligence, something else. A silent rule that very few people know. And this rule explains why, right now, a word as simple as a name can vanish faster than a phone number scribbled on the back of a receipt. If it isn't a matter of memory, then what is it really? Here's a quick experiment. Picture someone describing their new apartment. 2 bedrooms, a balcony facing east, a cat named Biscuit. Ask about it a week later, and most of it comes back easily. Now picture that same person simply saying their own name once, in passing. A week later, gone. Same brain, same 5 seconds. 2 completely different outcomes. Names are among the hardest pieces of information for a human brain to encode. Not because they're complicated, but because they're arbitrary. Nothing connects the sound of a name to that particular face. No story, no thread to hold on to, just a label, floating free. Maybe then, memory was never really the problem. But a new question lands immediately. Why does the brain punish this one piece of information so specifically when it retains so much else with unsettling ease? Here's the twist most people never see coming. The moment a name is spoken is often the exact moment the brain checks out. The name is said. And at that exact instant, the brain has already left the conversation. It's rehearsing what to say next, running its own little script. Nice to meet you. How do you two know each other? The polite reflexes. That quiet inner voice takes over completely. For a fraction of a second, nobody's home. The information wasn't forgotten. It was never recorded. That void from the very first scene. It was never forgetting. It was absence. So why do some people seem immune to it? Here's where it gets almost unfair. The most intelligent people often forget names more, not less. Associative brains are built to chase meaning, ideas, structures, cause and effect. But a name has none of that. No plot, no logic, nothing to attach to. So it slides straight through a system designed to understand, not to catalog. That awkward pause before a name, the one that makes people feel scattered or careless, is very often the opposite, a mind too busy building meaning to pause on a bare sound. Which raises one more thing. Why does one memory last a lifetime, while another evaporates in 10 seconds? The answer has a name of its own, dopamine. It works like a priority stamp, tagging each piece of information by emotional charge, surprise, usefulness. A name with no emotion, no surprise, no stakes attached, gets stamped low priority almost instantly, filed as disposable before it even has a chance to stick. Can that hierarchy be rewired? That's the final, most striking piece of the puzzle. Forgetting names might not be a flaw at all. It might be a signature. Studies on highly associative brains show the same pattern again and again. These brains favor meaning over labels, connections over isolated data points. Not names sitting there, unattached. Networks, always networks. Forgetting, then, isn't a malfunction. It's the toll paid for a different kind of intelligence. One built for links rather than raw data, for understanding rather than storage. The brain isn't broken, it's just aimed somewhere else. So the real question isn't why this keeps happening. It's what to do with it. That name lost in the first handshake wasn't proof of a distracted mind or a weak memory. It was proof of a mind working overtime, elsewhere, in parallel, chasing meaning, wiring connections, deciding in real time what actually deserves to be kept. Knowing this changes something immediately. The goal isn't to force the brain into remembering names through sheer effort. It's to hand it a hook, repeat the name out loud once, tie it to one vivid detail, one image, one story, and let the very same associative machine that forgot it do the remembering instead. And the next time a name slips away, barely 2 seconds after being spoken, there's a different feeling waiting underneath the embarrassment. Not shame, relief. It isn't forgetting. It's another way of remembering. If a name has ever vanished at the worst possible moment, the comment section is exactly the place to admit it. Chances are someone reading this did the same thing 5 minutes ago.